All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. You have got to be kidding. The 27-24 home victory in overtime against the Minnesota Vikings. The Cincinnati Bengals folks have now won 3 straight football games with Jake Browning at the helm, and you have taken down 3 teams who are currently at this time of recording in the playoffs. The Jacksonville Jaguars on the road, the Indianapolis Colts at home 34-14, and then this afternoon against the Minnesota Vikings. Everybody gave up on the Cincinnati Bengals except the great Bengals nation or the great Bengals fandom. This team is just littered with talent, and the whole Joe Burrow injury really absolutely sucks, but Jake Browning has done a phenomenal job for several straight weeks. This afternoon against, guys, the Minnesota Vikings are a really good defense. The Minnesota Vikings, led by Brian Flores, are a really good defense. Heading into this football game, they were top 5 in opponents' points per game. They're a really solid defense. 27 points, but more importantly, Jake Browning, 29-42, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have that one tough interception, but he has done more than enough to keep this team's hopes alive for the season. I mean, guys, if we go back a couple of weeks ago, there was like no shot. The Cincinnati Bengals started off the season during that, they just started the season brutal. Back-to-back losses, takes Joe Burrow and this team a little bit some time to get going, something we've been learning as the seasons have been progressing. But through 1 month of the regular season, you're sitting here at 1-3, and then a couple of weeks later, once your team starts hitting their stride offensively, Joe Burrow goes down for the season. And so that's what, we're going to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, but this is just special, what this team has been able to do since Joe Burrow, and honestly, just since the start of the season. The first month, it's been beautiful. It really has been special. So welcome back to the channel, Talking Bengals. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. As you guys know, if you've been following this channel, the Bengals are my Super Bowl pick, or they were my Super Bowl pick before the season began. If we could try and get this video to 250 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So this Bengals defense is still putting on a clinic. We'll talk about the Bengals defense towards the end of this video, but let's touch on this offense. So the only bad news is Ja'Marr Chase did get banged up, and he did go to the locker room, and he did not return. He a shoulder injury, and we'll wait. The game literally just ended, so we'll wait for the diagnoses here. But it was unideal. I do think he will be back sooner rather than later. I don't think he's going to need to miss any time, but I'm certainly the furthest thing from a doctor. So Jake Browning, in the last 3 weeks since he's been, we'll go last 3 weeks, 354 yards, a touchdown, 0 interceptions against the playoff team, one of the best teams in the AFC and the NFL, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. 18-24, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception last weekend against Indianapolis. And then 324 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. I mean, this guy is doing more than enough. He's such a young player, he's not young, but he's such a young player in the National Football League. He's 27 years old out of Washington. I will say this. He can lead this team to the playoffs, obviously sitting here at 8-6 now. The AFC is extremely difficult. Big-ass game this afternoon starting in about 1 minute from now. Colts, Steelers. But to me, if Cincinnati, you do have Pittsburgh next weekend, Saturday, then you do have another road game against the Kansas City Chiefs, who have been struggling. And then you've got, week 18 against the Cleveland Browns at home. So if you can just take care of business, they will make the playoffs. This Cincinnati Bengals team without Joe Burrow could win 10 football games and make the playoffs. So, all hope is still there. Nobody's hitting the panic button, which is just crazy. I love Jake Browning's pocket awareness. I love what he has been able to do for this team. And more importantly for me, momentum is huge. And when your starting quarterback and MVP player like Joe Burrow gets injured, especially after the success that this team has had in the last 2 seasons, yes, you could kind of throw the white flag, throw in the towel, get a better draft pick and just recoup healthy next season. But for me, momentum is everything, and no matter how those final 3 games go for Cincinnati, Jake Browning and this whole Cincinnati Bengals team, momentum is on their side. So I love the future of this team, obviously, but I love their current state right now. They're just winning. They're winning football games, and it is beautiful. I do want to see the run game get more involved. However, Joe Mixon only had 10 carries this afternoon. He did have 47 yards and that touchdown. But let's talk. And T. Higgins, 4 catches, 61 yards, 2 touchdowns. That last touchdown was absolutely unbelievable. And then also shout out to Jake Browning in overtime, making that play happen. And then shout out to Tyler Boyd. I mean, that was a perfectly thrown ball on the move. And yeah, shout out to Tyler Boyd for getting just a bunch of yards after the catch there. So defensively, Cincinnati has been such a good defense for so long. And I remember talking about the Bengals in the offseason here and everybody thinking, not Bengals fans, but getting worried a little bit about the secondary, losing some pieces. Trey Hendrickson is an absolute superstar in this league. He had a sack and a half this afternoon. He now has 15 sacks on the season. That is a career high. And there are still 3 football games to be played. But most importantly, this team this afternoon against, I don't even know what, I guess he is the backup quarterback, but he's kind of the backup to the backup. And Nick Mullins, 2 interceptions, which is just huge because, it's not Kirk Cousins. You got to take advantage of it and you got to get him to make mistakes. And that's exactly what the Bengals defense was able to do. They had, as a team, 3 total sacks, but most importantly, you had interceptions to BJ Hill, which was just a crazy little play over there. And then Mike Hilton with a huge red zone interception earlier on in the game. This defense plays with such physicality. I mean, it's just right on brand. It's just right on brand for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's right on brand for AFC North football. This defense is legit. They are a great defense. I think nobody is going to argue that. And if Jake Browning can continue to play the way he's been playing, I like, it's weird because I feel like, Joe Burrow is one crazy talented QB, but it's like, with your backup QB, what Zach Taylor has to do is just kind of simplify everything. And it's just got things moving very fluidly. There's nothing too crazy. There are some, you have Jamar Chase and you have T. Higgins and you've got Joe Mixon. So guys are going to make plays. But it's just such a simplified game plan. And it's really working in their favor here. And they're sitting here 8-6, man. It's just crazy what the difference a month can do. Myles Murphy, the rookie with the sack today, I was actually talking about him yesterday, funny enough, but I like the simplicity of the Bengals offense right now with the way Jake Browning has been operating, especially in the pocket, especially under pressure. The dude's got some legs. He's going to extend some drives. He's going to extend some plays with those feet. And when I have wide receivers like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I just got to find ways to get him the football. But most importantly for me, yes, Jake Browning's going to make some stupid mistakes. He's going to throw some silly balls. Every quarterback, whether you're a starter or a backup, is going to do that. He has really limited opportunities for teams to get those turnovers, whether those are interceptions or, strip sack fumbles. So just keep on winning. Who day. This has been my first Bengals video in way too long. So if you guys enjoyed it and you want more Bengals content, well, it's going to happen either way, but hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Most importantly, Bengals fans, NFL fans, are the Bengals making the playoffs? What are your thoughts on this current team? That's it from me. Peace.